When my daughter looked me straight in the eye and said, "Dad, you're not invited, go away. I don't want you at my wedding," I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stood there, frozen. My own flesh and blood, my little girl, the one I raised single-handedly after her mother passed, was shutting the door on me like I was some stranger off the street. That's when I decided justice must be restored. You won't believe what I did next. It all started years before that moment. After my wife, Margaret, passed away in a car accident, I was left with our only daughter, Emily, who was barely 8 years old at the time. We had no close relatives. It was just the two of us. I gave up promotions, passed on job transfers, and even sold our house to move into a smaller place so I could spend more time with her. Everything I did, from packing her lunch to attending every dance recital and school play, was for her. Emily was a bright girl, loving, affectionate, and kind. At least that's who she was until her college years. That's when she met Rachel, her roommate, best friend, and eventually, the woman who would twist my daughter into someone I barely recognized. Rachel came from money, had strong opinions, and always talked about cutting out toxic people, even if those people were your parents. Emily started echoing those words too. At first it was small things. She'd skip our Sunday dinners, forget my birthday, dismiss my advice with, "Dad, you wouldn't understand." Then came the distance. Calls once a week became once a month. Eventually, she stopped coming home altogether. I blamed myself at first. Maybe I was too strict, too old-fashioned, but deep down, I knew someone else was pulling the strings. Then, she announced she was engaged. No family dinner, no phone call, just a public post on social media. "Can't wait to marry the love of my life." With a sparkling ring emoji and dozens of comments, I called her, and after being ignored for weeks, she finally answered. Her voice was cold, rehearsed. "Dad, I just think it's better if you're not involved. We're doing things differently, more modern, less stressed." "Emily," I said gently, "I walked you to your first class. I taught you to ride a bike. You're telling me I'm not even allowed to stand at the back of the church." She exhaled, sharply. "Dad, please don't make this about you." That was it. I wasn't invited to the engagement. I wasn't allowed at the bridal shower. I didn't even get to meet the guy. Derek, some tech startup hotshot from LA, and just a month before the wedding, Emily sent me a text that read, "Please respect my boundaries and do not come to the wedding." I stared at that message all night. 1,000 memories of bedtime stories, scraped knees, birthday cakes, and family hugs flooded my mind. She wasn't just rejecting me, she was erasing me. Before we continue, don't forget to like, comment where you're watching from, and hit that subscribe button. So, I made a decision. If my daughter wanted to pretend I didn't exist, I would. Make sure the world remembered who raised her. I didn't want to hurt her, but she needed to see what she'd thrown away and what it cost her. I started with small, quiet steps. I reached out to Derek's parents. A little internet research revealed they were conservative folks from Texas, very proud, very traditional. They hadn't even met Emily yet, so I sent them a warm letter, no bitterness, just facts. I told them about Margaret, our life, how I raised Emily alone, how close we were, and how heartbroken I was to not be at the wedding. I included pictures, birthday photos, school awards, videos of Emily playing piano. Then I added a short handwritten note. "Perhaps you should ask her why I'm not allowed to come." A week later, I got a reply. Derek's mother, Evelyn, thanked me for the honesty and said they were shocked. Emily had told them I was an absent father who abandoned her after Margaret died. She never mentioned I raised her. Now they were curious. It didn't take long for them to dig deeper. I sent more photos, more proof, school records, community volunteer, awards, church newsletters with both our names. Soon after, I heard Derek's parents flew down for an unexpected visit. Apparently, they had a long talk with Emily, but Emily, stubborn as she'd become, doubled down. She told them I was emotionally manipulative and clingy. That's when I pulled out the final card. See. What Emily didn't know was that I had recorded every birthday message I'd ever given her, every voicemail, every homemade Christmas video. I took all of it and made a private montage, just a father and daughter through the years. Laughter, hugs, homemade cakes, piano recitals. The two of us, side by side. I sent the link anonymously to Derek. I didn't hear anything for a few days. Then suddenly, Emily called me. Her voice shook. "Dad, did you send a video to Derek?" "Yes," I said calmly. "I wanted him to know who you really were, who I really am." There was silence. Then she whispered, "Why would you do that?" "Because you erased me, Emily. You let someone poison you against the man who gave up everything for you." "I'm not doing this to hurt you. I just wanted the truth to be seen." She hung up. The wedding went ahead without me. But it wasn't the fairy tale she planned. Apparently, Derek's parents insisted on a sit-down with both families before the ceremony. Emily refused. Derek was caught in the middle. Then the local press got wind of a viral video, circulating with the title, "Single Dad's Heartbreaking Tribute After Being Banned from Daughter's Wedding." I hadn't posted it publicly, but someone Derek trusted did. Maybe even his sister. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. People started asking questions. Guests canceled. Derek's business associates got curious. A few even backed out of partnerships. A week later, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I see it now. You didn't deserve any of this. The wedding photos never went online. 2 months passed. No honeymoon pictures. Then, one afternoon, I found Emily sitting on my front porch. Her makeup was smeared. Her hands were shaking. "Dad," she said, barely able to look at me. "I ruined everything." I didn't gloat. I didn't scold. I just opened the door. She cried in my arms for the first time in years. Rachel, gone. Apparently after the wedding. Scandal. Rachel turned on Emily, saying the drama had made her toxic energy. Derek still around but distant. The trust was fractured, and Emily, she was finally seeing clearly. We spent hours talking that day. She apologized. Deeply, fully. She told me she didn't know how to undo the damage, but she wanted to try. I told her we'd start small. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, but it means moving forward. That's what I did. That's what we're doing. Thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from, and don't forget to like, comment, and share the video. After that call ended and I was left staring at the cold blue light of my phone screen, something inside me shifted. I wasn't just hurt, I was angry, but not the kind of loud, raging anger that makes you shout. It was quiet, heavy, focused. I started going through my old files that night, every school tuition receipt, every credit card statement, every transfer I'd made to Emily's college account. I opened an old spreadsheet from years ago and updated the numbers. Private school tuition from grades 1 to 12, $1,000 a month for 12 years. That's $144,000. For Alto State College, I paid every cent. $2,200 a month in tuition, fees, books, and housing for 4 years. That's another $105,600. Then the car, $14,800 for a used Toyota I bought her for her 19th birthday. Insurance, $1,800 a year, 5 years. That's $9,000. In total, I had spent over $273,000 on raising Emma accounting, food, clothes, or the time I took off work to take care of her. And what did I get in return? A text message telling me to stay away. So I took a deep breath and opened another folder. Her wedding fund. See, when Emily turned 18, I quietly started saving again. I had put aside $500 a month for 6 years, $36,000 in total into a separate account under my name. It was never officially hers, but it was meant for her wedding, just as Margaret and I had once dreamed. Dresses, catering, venue all prepaid, all scheduled to release automatically the week before the wedding. Until now, that night I walked into the bank and canceled every single outgoing transfer. The $5,000 for the custom floral arrangement, gone. The $8,000 venue deposit reversed. The $3,200 DJ package, canceled and refunded. The remaining balance, pulled from the wedding planner's account. I didn't leave a note. I didn't warn her. I just waited. 3 days later, my phone buzzed. It was a call from an unknown number. "Hi, is this Mr. Langston? This is Amanda from Crystal Gardens Events. We're trying to confirm the bank information. The wedding payments were reversed and I..." Cut her off. "Yes, that's correct. Those payments were made by me. I no longer authorize them." "Oh, okay, should we contact the bride?" "You can, but she won't be able to replace the funds." Click. That afternoon, the storm began. Emily tried calling twice. I didn't answer. Then came the texts. "Emily, why would you cancel the wedding payments? What is wrong with you? Emily, do you want to ruin my life? Is that it? Emily, you're dead to me, dead to her." That was Rich. Next came Rachel. "Rachel, you're acting like a petty little man. Grow up. The world doesn't revolve around your hurt feelings." I ignored her too, but the panic was obvious. The venue dropped them. The florist told them they were already booked for other clients. The DJ went online and made a Dear Clients post about fake bookings. The wedding was less than 3 weeks away, and everything started falling apart quietly, slowly, one thread at a time. The more Emily tried to act like she didn't need me, the more she had to scramble to fix the mess. And the best part? I hadn't yelled, I hadn't cursed, I hadn't even stepped outside my home. I was just getting started. A few days later, I finally picked up her call. I knew she'd just keep trying, and frankly, I was curious how she'd spin it. Her voice came sharp, full of forced calm. "Dad, listen, I don't know what kind of stunt you're trying to pull, but the wedding is happening. I've talked to Derek, and we've decided to move forward with or without your help." I didn't say a word. She took my silence as surrender. "Now, I need you to reauthorize the venue and floral payments at least. I mean, you promised. Remember, this isn't about you, it's about doing what's right. People are watching. You want to be the reason your daughter walks down the aisle with no flowers, no music? That's what Mom would have wanted." That hit a nerve. She knew it would, but I kept my voice calm. "All right," I said. "If it means that much to you, I'll do something. Why don't we meet? Just us. Talk things through. You can show me what you've planned. Give me a tour." She hesitated. "You'll bring the checkbook." "If it all makes sense to me," I said with a soft chuckle. "Sure," she agreed. We met that Saturday at the boutique hotel where she'd rescheduled the ceremony. It wasn't as grand as the original venue, but it was decent. She brought Rachel along. Of course, like her emotional bodyguard, Rachel barely acknowledged me. Emily smiled stiffly and said, "So, this is where the cocktail hour will be. Then the guests will move into the garden." As they spoke, I nodded, asked polite questions, took photos with my phone, even smiled when Rachel made snide remarks. Like, at least this time, it's not some tacky backyard barbecue like your generation used to do. I ignored the thing. I even said, "I'll talk to the bank Monday." That line lit Emily's eyes up like fireworks, but I never planned to pay a cent. What I did plan to do was hand over all the footage of the venue, of Rachel mocking me, and of Emily pretending to be the wounded victim to Derek's parents. Why? Because while Emily had cast me as the absentee toxic father, she was showing her true self when she thought I was back on the hook. And I knew something else. Evelyn, Derek's mother, had been raised in a house where loyalty and family history mattered. Emily had burned that bridge with her lies. I just had to give Evelyn enough proof to let her light the match herself, so I sent the photos and recordings not to Derek, but to his mother with a short message. "You told me once you wanted to know the truth. I hope this helps." The trap was set, and Emily, she walked right into it, smiling the whole time, completely unaware that her house of lies was about to collapse. The following weekend, Emily invited Derek's parents for a final pre-wedding dinner. It was meant to smooth things over, mate. Everyone smile, take photos, pretend the chaos of the last few weeks hadn't happened. She called me too, strangely cheerful. "Dad, I think it would mean a lot to everyone if you came. Just be civil, okay?" I told her I'd be there. Of course, I would. I had already set everything in motion. The dinner was held at a trendy rooftop restaurant Derek had rented for the evening. Twinkling lights, an acoustic band playing soft covers, expensive wine flowing like water. Emily arrived late, dressed in white, glowing like she thought the world revolved around her. Rachel sat next to her, still smug, whispering in her ear. Derek's parents were there too. Evelyn wore pearls, and her husband sat stiffly, watching everyone like a courtroom judge. I showed up in a dark suit. Quiet, calm dinner began light. Toasts were made. Rachel cracked jokes about letting go of old toxic traditions. Emily thanked everyone for believing in her vision. Evelyn smiled tightly through it all, but I could see the strain behind her eyes. Then, right as dessert arrived, Evelyn cleared her throat and stood. "I'd like to share something," she said, gently tapping her glass. Everyone looked up. "I want to thank Emily," she began, "for inviting us tonight. It's clear she's been under pressure. Planning a wedding is never easy, especially when there's tension in the family." Emily nodded, trying to play the gracious bride. "I appreciate that," Evelyn continued, her tone shifting slightly. "But I've been thinking a lot about family, about who shows up when it's hard, about who sacrifices silently, year after year, with no expectation of reward." Emily stiffened. "I received something recently," Evelyn said, pulling a sleek tablet from her purse. "From a friend, a few videos, screenshots, financial records, photos of a little girl with her father every piano recital, every school ceremony, every scraped knee. A father who raised her alone after his wife died, who paid her way through private school, college, even bought her first car." Emily's face turned pale. Evelyn tapped the screen. The montage began playing on mute but visible to everyone. Sitting at that long dinner table, a smiling 8-year-old Emily in a tutu, a teenage Emily hugging her dad in front of a college dorm. A Christmas morning with just the two of them, laughing in front of a tree. No one said a word. Then Evelyn's voice returned, soft but clear. "And yet this same man was painted as a villain, cut off, lied about, banned from his daughter's wedding, until money was needed." Gasps rose from the guests. One of Derek's cousins leaned toward another and whispered, "Is that real?" Rachel shot up from her seat. "This is totally out of context." Evelyn turned to her with icy calm. "You called his generation tacky in front of me. Rachel, I was born in 1962. Please sit down." Rachel sat, red-faced, suddenly very quiet. Emily's voice cracked. "Mom, Evelyn, please. That's not what happened." Evelyn locked eyes with her. "We welcomed you into our family based on trust. But you didn't just lie about your father, you tried to erase him." Emily started to cry. Derek looked down, ashamed. I stood, buttoned my jacket slowly. "I didn't come to ruin this night," I said gently. "I came so people could see the truth. I never asked for thanks. I never asked for recognition. But I won't be rewritten." Everyone was silent. I turned toward Emily. Her makeup was running now, her fork frozen midair. "Enjoy the consequences," I said quietly, "and good luck with the wedding." I walked out, dignified, silent. The night air felt lighter than it had in years, and behind me, the lies my daughter built crumbled under their own weight. The fallout didn't take long. By Monday morning, the video Evelyn had shown at dinner once private had quietly made its way into the public. Someone had recorded part of it, maybe one of the guests, and uploaded it to a wedding drama forum. Within days, it spread like wildfire. Brideband's single dad who raised her gets exposed at rehearsal dinner. It trended for nearly a week. Millions of views, thousands of comments. People took sides, but the majority saw the truth. Emily tried to do damage control. She disabled her social media accounts. Rachel made some vague tweet about men weaponizing parenting, but it backfired instantly. Screenshots of her snide remarks about old people, backyard weddings, and mocking dead wife sob stories were everywhere. Her consulting clients dropped her. Her Instagram sponsorships evaporated. Rachel vanished from the picture. For Emily, Derek didn't call off the wedding, but it wasn't the dream event she'd planned. It became a family-only courthouse ceremony. No gown, no guests, no flowers. Derek's parents didn't attend. Within a month, Derek's startup backed out of a major funding round. Investors were skittish about his public drama. He blamed the stress of Emily's decisions. The marriage, already cracked, started showing full fractures. Then, about 6 weeks later, I got a knock on my door. It was Emily. Her eyes were hollow, makeup free, hair pulled back. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Her voice was flat. "Can we talk?" I let her in. She sat on the same couch where we used to read bedtime stories. She didn't apologize, she said. "I know I said and did things that were unkind, but maybe we can move past it, start fresh." She paused. "Also, we've been dealing with a few things. Financially, Derek might lose. The apartment, the press coverage scared off some clients. We could use some help. Just for a few months?" I looked at her. Really looked. Not the child I raised. Not the little girl who held my hand at the zoo. This was a woman who wanted the safety net without the strings. Who wanted my loyalty, my money, my silence, but not the accountability. So I said what I needed to say. No. Her eyes widened slightly. "I loved you every day of your life," I said, "and I still do. But love doesn't mean bailing you out of a mess you created while pretending I didn't exist. You cut me out. You told me I was nothing, that I was dead to you. Well, dead men don't write checks." Her lip trembled. "But you're my father." I was. Until you decided I was just a wallet. You don't get to erase me and then come knocking when the lights go out." She sat in silence, no tears, just shock. Eventually, she stood up and walked to the door. I didn't stop her. She didn't look back. And I didn't regret a word. Life moved on, and for the first time in years, I let it, without Emily's constant silence hanging over me, without the weight of hoping for a text or waiting for an invite. I felt ... free, lighter. I didn't realize how much of myself I'd given up, just trying to stay connected to someone who had long decided I wasn't worth remembering. The wedding fund, now untouched, became something else entirely. I took a portion of it and renovated the old house. Nothing fancy, just fresh paint, a new garden in the back, and a swing bench like the one Margaret always wanted. I even adopted a dog, a goofy golden retriever named Tucker, who followed me around like I was the most important person in the world. I started volunteering again, something I'd put off during the years of raising Emily and then waiting on her scraps of attention. Once a week at the community center, helping kids with homework and teaching woodworking to teenagers. They reminded me of Emily when she was small, before the world got hold of her and twisted her. That's where I met Carla, one of the other volunteers. She ran the after-school music program, widowed like me, kind in a way that didn't ask anything in return. We didn't talk about our pasts much. We just shared coffee and conversation, sometimes silence, and it felt good. Real. Her son Jordan took to me instantly, a shy, bookish 14-year-old who'd never had a father figure. We started working on a bench together for the park. He called me Mr. L at first, then just Tom. Then one day, while we were sanding wood in the garage, he said, "I wish my real dad were more like you." That one sentence filled something in me I didn't even realize was still hollow. This was what family looked like. Not blood, not obligation, but people choosing each other, honestly and freely. I didn't hear from Emily for a long time after that last visit, and honestly, I stopped checking my phone for her name. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't waiting. I had learned that love isn't measured by what you give, but by who gives back without manipulation, without condition. And the version of me that once begged for scraps of connection, he was gone. Word travels in small towns even. When it comes from the big city. I eventually heard that Emily and Derek had split less than a year into the marriage. No big announcement, just quiet papers filed and separate apartment listings. Derek had reportedly moved back to California, trying to revive his startup with new investors. Emily stayed behind, jobless, socially iced out, her name still floating in the remnants of that viral fallout. No one wanted to work with someone known for turning on their own family when it was convenient. She tried to restart her social channels, even posted some healing journey videos, but the comments never forgot. People remembered the montage, the dad she tried to erase. That's for me. I spent this morning in my backyard. The sun was warm, Tucker lay at my feet, chewing a stick, and Jordan was on the porch, reading a book I gave him last week. Carla was humming in the kitchen, baking something that made the whole house smell like cinnamon and memories. There was no spotlight, no grand audience, just peace. A peace that comes from letting go of people who only show up when they need you, and embracing those who stand beside you because they want to, and that is real family. If you found justice here, like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. For another powerful story, click right here. Real family doesn't have a price tag.